What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Unplugged and Uncut, the new source for sports news and entertainment. You are live with your boy Unique, and today we're going to get into the Spurs being linked to DeAndre Ayton, why it makes sense, and the fit. Let's get right into it since we do have multiple subjects today. With the Pistons landing Jalen Duren, they're thought to be out on the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes, leaving the Bleacher Report to suggest the Spurs as a real possibility. Now, this makes a lot of sense from a Spur roster construction. DeAndre Ayton would definitely fit the timeline of the current roster, as well as Jakob. He's not that much older, both around the same age. Now, the reason they're suggesting the Spurs as such a legit spot for him to land is because the Spurs can clear up about $32 million and can actually offer a max contract without a sign and trade. So if Ayton was looking at the landscape, he could see the Spurs as an opportunity. And the Bleacher Report states that they think that the opportunity with the Spurs could also allow him to play for a team competing for the playoffs sooner than a team such as maybe the Indiana Pacers, who are also interested in DeAndre Ayton. Now, adding Ayton to the roster makes a lot of sense. You could see a lineup of Dejounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, eventually Jeremy Schoen playing next to DeAndre Ayton. Backups coming off the bench of Trey Jones, Josh Primo, Malachi Brannon, Zach Collins, and Jacques Lindell could be a very formidable team in the Western Conference. Now, the Western Conference is going to be a juggernaut, guys. The Clippers are going to get Kawhi back. The Nuggets are going to get healthy. So it is going to be a fight to get into just that play-in spot. You got to think the Lakers might be better if Anthony Davis can stay healthy. So it's not going to be easy just to get that play-in or that number 6 spot. So picking up a player like DeAndre Ayton definitely helps. It also helps Ayton get paid and get more touches. Instead of being the third option, he'd be the number 1 or number 2 option. Depending on who's hotter between him and Dejounte Murray, they would probably get the most touches, with the other player being the number 2, him or Murray, and Keldon Johnson being that 3. That'll also take some pressure off of Devin Vassell. He could still focus on growing, and we might see his point increase from like 12 to 15. With less pressure, he could take the best shot available. So with this type of move, the Bleacher Report also states that the Suns would benefit from asking for Jakob back and anything else they could possibly get from the San Antonio Spurs. So you might see something like Jakob, Jay Rich, and Doug McBuckets out the door, Ayton coming in. And then once again, it would definitely be a position of need. He'd be the number 1 or 2 scoring option, whoever's hotter with Dejounte Murray, and it'd be a perfect fit. His ability to run the court with this young Spurs squad would be devastating, offense and defense. He'd be a perfect fit with the Spurs. So this rumor makes a lot of sense, guys. I'm going to post it up there so you can read the whole article yourselves. It's definitely a good read over at the Bleacher Report. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Spurs should continue their pursuit of DeAndre Ayton? Do you think they should maybe look at a Mitch Robinson? What about a Jalen Smith? There's quite a few bigs that should be available. Who do you think the Spurs should go after? I like this rumor. It's not bad. And I actually think the fit is really good. Now, do the Spurs want to tie up 30+ million in Ayton? I don't know. It's definitely interesting to monitor. Also, with them pursuing Ayton, maybe. There's definitely rumors of them still in talks about trying to bring over John Collins. And still in talks about trying to trade Dejounte Murray. To me, that That doesn't make as much sense. If you're trying to get John Collins and Ayton, it sounds like you're trying to win now. You would want to keep Murray with those two. That could be devastating. Dejounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, John Collins, DeAndre Ayton. Ooh, now we talking top 6, definitely. But that could be devastating. I just don't see how you continue that push, though, losing Dejounte Murray. He's an excellent point guard. Assist to turnover ratios through the roof. It's going to get you 1.5 to 2.5 steals a game. He's going to get you 12, not 12, but 8 to 12 rebounds. I went way up over them rebounds. Get you 12 rebounds. Nah, 8 to 12 rebounds. 8 to 10. And 20 plus points. You can't beat that. So there's no way I'm trading my all-star point guard. I am trying to add pieces to him to help them contend now. That's what I would be doing if I was the Spurs GM. Not looking for a Drew Holiday-like package. But can't wait to see what you guys have to say about those extra 2 rumors going on. Do y'all think the Spurs should still go after John Collins? And do you agree that the Spurs should trade Dejounte Murray now while his trade value is at a skyrocketing high? Great contract, all-star season. I say you got to keep Dejounte. You got to show that loyalty to your players, especially your players that's been so loyal to Pop and the Spur organization. I feel like Dejounte Murray is that Ginobili type player, that Tim Duncan that you keep on the team. Now, I understand the reason Tony Parker left, and I'm not going to get into details about the Tony Parker situation, but he should have stayed a Spur too, guys. Let's just be real. He should have never been a Charlotte Hornet. That would have been very unique for the Spurs to have 3 players, 3 championship players play their whole career with one team and retire with one team. That's the way it was supposed to be. But things don't always go the way they're supposed to be or the way they are planned, and that is okay. But let's not go astray with Dejounte Murray trying to trade him for future draft picks. You see, the thing with draft picks are everybody loves them because they're the great unknown. A draft pick is untapped, unfulfilled potential. You don't know what that draft pick is. Draft pick could also be Anthony Bennett. That was a #1 draft pick. How'd that go? So you got to be careful with falling in love with acquiring draft picks. Because yes, it sounds good in theory that unknown, the great unknown, that unknown potential. Is that really better than what you currently got? With the Brooklyn Nets, if Kevin Durant is happy, trade Kevin Durant for any amount of draft picks? Probably not. Would the Milwaukee Bucks trade Giannis Antetokounmpo for any amount of draft picks unless he's asking for it? Probably not. And that's because the player with the potential already there is different than untapped potential. You see, Giannis has realized his potential, and he's still getting better. Dejounte Murray has realized his potential. He came out of college averaging 16.5-5, one of the few players to average that. So you knew he could get points, assist the ball, and rebound. Now he's realized that potential. It's just not untapped potential. It's potential that has been realized. Do you want to trade that player that is already on an all-star level and growing for the great unknown? That would be my mind state thinking about Dejounte Murray. If you're not giving me a player that is equal to Dejounte Murray or better, I don't care about how many draft picks you got. Unless you're telling me you're giving me the #1 draft pick And that's not a guarantee. That's a lottery shoot. So, no, I don't like that rumor. The John Collins rumor, I'm okay with that. Even though you picked up Jeremy Showen, he could back up John Collins. And that could be a nice fit. John Collins could fit next to Jakob. What do you have to give up to get John Collins? I'd be willing enough to give a couple draft picks up in the future and maybe a couple rotation players, such as a Josh Richardson or Doug McBuckets, even a Zach Collins. That way, the Hawks can get a player back that fills a position of need for them as well, losing John Collins. But I like Zach Collins. I think he's going to have a big year next year. I don't think his year is going to be as big as John Collins, but I think for Zach Collins, he ended the season averaging 7 points. It's not unfeasible for him to go to 10 to 12, maybe even double that and average 13, 14 points next year. He's going to get his confidence back in his body. And that's all it really takes for Zach Collins, is getting that confidence back after coming back from injury. So is John Collins worth it? He might be. But what are you giving up? I'm not giving up Dejounte Murray for no John Collins. I'm sorry. Am I trading Dejounte Murray for draft picks? Oh, no. Am I going after Deandre Ayton? Yes, sir. Yeah, I already know. So I would try and add Ayton and Collins to the squad without losing Murray. Like we said, Murray, Vassell, Johnson, Collins, and Ayton. Ugh, that's a nice lineup. That's versatile, that's fast, that's shooting, that's athletic. That could be something. So I like the prediction that they got going on here and the reasoning why the Suns would accept Jakob, Josh Rich, and Doug McBuckets. We did a trade proposal similar to that earlier in the year. So I'm not going to get too into detail on what a trade proposal would look like. And we got a lot of Suns fans pushing back on us with that trade, saying the Suns wouldn't accept that. But like I said, and like this article is stating, when you're in a sign and trade, you're basically trying to get what you can. And especially in the situation with the Spurs. The Spurs can just outright sign Deandre Ayton. And if that's where he says, I want to go, then the Suns are in trouble. They don't have to get anything back. So it behooves them to take back Jakob, the number 2 defensive center in the league, to try and get Josh Richardson and Doug McBuckets, a 3-and-D player. Maybe you can move one of those contracts to get some more help somewhere else. So that actually behooves them to try and get as much as you can for that player. But the Spurs are going to have options. Jalen Smith is going to be sitting there. What do the Pistons do with Marvin Bagley? That's a great player. Another young big, 6'10", power forward. What's going to happen with Mitch Robinson up there in New York? And then even French players like JaVale McGee that bring you that rim-running, shot-blocking presence off the bench. There's going to be a lot of options there for the Spurs to pick up a big, so let's hope that they go with some type of power forward or player that can play power forward. Or center, just to fill out that roster. Especially if you don't believe in Jacques Landale. We have to see it. I think they're going to pick up his contract. It's an affordable deal. It's a great value. And I would keep Jacques Landale. He's shown the ability to hit the 3. He just has to continue to get better with picking up the NBA game. It's a little bit different than the Euro game. So I don't see anything wrong with keeping Jacques Landale. And I actually expect Zach Collins to play better this year, being healthy the whole year. So, guys, how do y'all feel about the Spurs being linked with the Phoenix Suns' Deandre Ayton? How do y'all feel about this Dejounte Murray rumor that the Spurs are still shopping him? Man, crazy. And how do y'all feel about John Collins possibly coming over? I'll be checking the comments to see how everybody feels about that. I think I'm going to have to get some popcorn because this one could get explosive, especially talking about the Spurs possibly still trying to trade Dejounte Murray. I don't think any of us understand that. There might be a few that want to say, let's go with the trade him while his value is high, but I just don't agree with that. Depending on what you're getting back, You might be able to convince me, but honestly, for the sake of loyalty, I feel like you keep Dejounte Murray. That's just my opinion. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say in the comments, though, because of course that's my favorite part, going through reading to see what everybody has to say. But for now, your boy is out as we get ready for the next part of the show. Peace.